Hey guys, Jeremy here from School of Wok, Covent Garden. It is Wok Wednesday. I'm excited. Are you excited? I hope you are, because we are making salt and Sichuan pepper prawns. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. First thing I'm going to do is start by toasting off your Sichuan peppercorns, and I've got about a tablespoon of Sichuan peppercorns here. It's quite a lot, but that is replacing the cracked black pepper, and it'll give you that sort of nice tingling feeling on the tongue. But we'll get loads of garlic, loads of chili, or a fair amount of chili in there, and then we'll bring out the flavour from this sort of toasting of the peppercorns. I'll get some salt in there as well, and then we'll crush that together, and then we'll move on to the base flavour of your garlic, your chili, and all that sort of stuff. Your prawns, very, very simple. I'll show you how to prep them in a second. Now your peppercorns will start to sort of release their aromats, and you'll really sort of smell that lovely, fragrant aroma from the peppercorns. And you start to see a little bit of smokiness. You don't want them to burn. But what I am going to do is put a fair bit of salt on those just before I take them out. And you're sort of, I'm making like a Sichuan peppercorn salt, which I'll crush through in a second. I want to toast that salt off a little as well. Just adds a bit of smoky flavour to my peppercorn salt. And then pour all that into a pestle and mortar. Get all that salt into there with my beautiful School of Wok silicone spatula, which you can find on schoolofwok.co.uk. So you want to, whilst it's still hot, start to crack those peppercorns and bring out as much of that flavour as possible. It's a very unique flavour, this. It's sort of almost mentally tingling feeling on the tip of your tongue. And you might find this a little bit strange, but I'm going to add a couple more bits to it. So some white pepper, and that will just sort of interact and combine well with the Sichuan peppercorn flavour. I find white pepper's got a slight savoury flavour to it. And then a pinch of sugar to balance that out, because the peppercorns also have that natural sweetness to it. And then it's not just salt you're tasting, if I dare. Ooh, very savoury because of that mixture of salt, sugar, white pepper and the peppercorns, the toasted peppercorns. It makes a very unique flavour. I'll show you guys sort of how ground up that is. That is where most of the flavour for this dish comes from. For this dish, I like to use lots of garlic, more finely chopped up, and that will sort of pour over the top of the prawns. So that is a hell of a lot of garlic, which for a dish like this, when we've finished, you'll see, is absolutely necessary. Ginger next, not so much ginger. Give that a scrape, just get all the skin off, and then we're going to finely chop that as well. Nice and finely chopped ginger. And your chili, again, finely chopped. Could use more chili than that if you like. I'm going to go easy little guys today. Spring onion, again, plenty of it. We want this to be nice and colourful, and we want this like mound of garlic, chili and green over the top of the prawns at the end. Loads of spring onion there, right after the chili. Last up, your prawns themselves. If you've got a sharp enough knife, I'm going to keep these whole, but you want to butterfly these, so you should be able to just cut into the top. If your prawns are nice and fresh, they should sort of be bouncing back at you, and you can hold them quite tight, like so, just with your fingers carefully over the top. And then with your knife blade still in there, once you've butterflied all the way down, then you can just turn your knife over, like so, and press down on the blade. And that butterflies nicely, and you can see there where the vein is. So if you can find the vein, just clean that out with your knife. So you can see, like sort of when I'm marinating meats or anything like that, one hand dirty, the other hand on the knife needs to be nice and clean. So I'll do the same with all the prawns first, you know, and this is, I'm just sort of showing you a little bit of kitchen efficiency here. So do the same action every time with whatever you're cutting. And then once you've done with one action, you can move on to the next. And I'm going to start to score the prawns after this so that they stay open and butterflied in a nice pretty way when I cook them. So now I've butterflied all the prawns, then you can score. And that scoring just helps to open them up whilst they're frying or grilling, however you want to cook them really. So my prawns pretty much ready, apart from a little bit of corn flour and some seasoning. Might add a bit more garlic. No, only joking. Right, so we've got your corn flour, and I want to get these fairly crispy. Traditionally you deep fry these, but I'm going to pan fry them today. So 2 to 3 tablespoons of corn flour. And because I've got a load of this and it's so tasty, I'm going to season it with this mix, but then it's just my Sichuan peppercorn salt. Just give them a toss through. Try and get the actual meat well seasoned as well. Just dip those into that excess corn flour. So you can see nicely covered in that flour. Prawns ready to either pan fry or deep fry, and then we'll finish the dish off. So as I say, traditionally you deep fry this, but I'm going to pan fry these today. You know, feeling like we maybe deep fry a little bit too much, but you still need a fair bit of oil in the base of your pan. Make sure that oil gets really nice and hot before you put your prawns in, and we're going to go meat side down so that they butterfly out nicely and they sort of curl up along those scores that I made. Make sure they're sizzling up straight away. You can see they don't take long to cook at all because they're changing colour pretty much immediately on that high heat. We'll give them a toss through with all of that garlic and chilli and the Sichuan pepper salt last minute as well. And that will all happen in the wok. So high heat with any sort of seafood just seals all the juices and the flavour and all that savoury, lovely flavour and texture of the prawns into the prawns themselves. It doesn't let it sit out into the pan. So see this top one, the first one I've done, and it's going brown, but it's not completely golden brown yet. Give it another minute and then I'll turn those. I mean, these would be nice just by themselves like this. You know, maybe have a pint on the side, but with the chilli and the garlic, it just lifts it even more. Whoa, they're looking great now. I'm going to turn those. Whoa. Colour on those. So once the meat or the prawns is starting to sort of curl and wants to sort of jump out of its shell, you know that those prawns are cooked. And also the colour, it should be so that corally pink orange colour all the way through. A nice crisp outer edge, but still really succulent inside. Just drain those on a bit of kitchen towel, ready to then flash fry. So we're going to start off with your garlic, and I've got a fair bit of garlic, so I need enough oil to cook that garlic through and crisp it up nicely. Make sure that oil comes to a good temperature, but I'll get it on a high heat first, so the wok's at a good temp, and then bring that down to a medium heat so that I can fry that garlic through without it burning, because you know some of it might burn or cook quicker than others. So my wok's smoking hot now. I'm just going to bring the heat down slightly and then add my garlic into that oil. You can probably throw the ginger in there as well, just to move that around, because otherwise that garlic around the edges of the wok will cook quicker. There's a relatively low heat. I'm just going to turn it up a little bit now. You do want your garlic to crisp up, which is why we're doing this first. If you're using less garlic, the whole process would be a lot quicker. So if you do see any bits starting to burn, then just turn the heat down at that point, and then just keep folding it through and keep stirring it through. And you can see now my garlic and ginger is browned really nicely. At this point, it's all very quick from here. So I've got my chili and my spring onion going into that mix. Give that a stir through, and then I'm going to whack the heat up to a high heat, get my salt mix in, my prawns in, and I'm literally going to give that a toss through 5 or 6 times on that high heat. You don't want to burn that garlic on this high heat. And that is done. You can see some of that garlic mix is really sort of stuck to the prawns nicely. And that's from that little addition of sugar in the salt mix. It's always best to leave that garlic chili mix to the end, because you want it all sort of over the top of the prawns. Sichuan pepper, garlic, salt and pepper prawns. So as I say, my favourite is all this topping. I don't know why I've got a fork. If you like me, the shell is really crunchy. Just go for the whole thing. But by the way, even if you're picking the meat out, there's so much flavour sort of really stuck into it. Reminds me of holidays. Crunchy, salty, spicy, with that toasted Sichuan peppercorn at the beginning. It leaves a tingling feeling on your tongue, but it's not over mentally. Perfect balance of flavour. If you like Asian food like this, guys, don't forget, click that notification button, subscribe to our channel, and like.